What's going on, everybody? It's me, it's RDV here, and I got Ashland Comics tonight. As you see, Zach said it in the chat that he's still AWOL. We haven't found him yet, but we know he's saying that he's not coming back, so we'll be fine. All right. So if you've never been here before, you're wondering what the top five is. The top five is usually where me and my co-host Zach, or anybody else who wants to fill in for tonight, we take five books from our pull list. These are the books that we're most excited to read this week. Now, with everybody, that's varies as far as how many books on your pull list. I know Ash, you're one of those people. Basically, you're kind of like you got your toe a little bit in the water. You're kind of like, I'm not sure about comic books if I really want to get back in this hobby. Where other people like I'm up to my legs. My legs are gone. I'm up to my waist in just comic books. It's interesting a hobby because a lot of people, older readers, are kind of left. They kind of realize they're kind of either aged out or just realize I'd rather spend my money on something that's more worth my value. So,
For sure.
yeah. So, hello to him or to him. I was mispronounced. I'm bad at this stuff. And what's going on to Jughead and Marania, Eva Black Cat, and Lord. It's great to see you here. I've been meaning to talk to you more often, but you never show up. So anyway, let's just jump right into this. Usually Zach and I take turns, and Ash, since it's your first time on the top five, I believe it is, I'll let you.
Oh, I've been on here before.
Have you been here?
I've always been like the third wheel. I've never been in the Zach chair.
Yeah, you might want to clean that chair out. Zach's been there. All right, so I'll let you start.
He might want to clean the chair out when he gets back.
Yeah, Mexican tonight.
Oh, you don't want to let me start, do you?
Well, we might have some books that are still the same. Who cares? Oh, you got
probably do.
All books matter.
However, I have something in the fridge I need to get, and if you can give me 30 seconds.
Oh, how about I start?
We gotta let some people flow in anyway. I don't want to be the person who says his books while you're padding for time to get the audience to trickle in.
Sure. What I'll do is I'll start with my number 5, and then just give you enough time to get back in here, and then we'll switch to you.
Be right back.
All right. So here we go on. Turn on. And if you are wondering, we do stream this on Twitch at the same time as well. Just basically, it's like sticking our just reaching out. We're basically casting a reel into the Twitch waters. See if anybody out there who maybe has never really watched YouTube or didn't know the comic book channels really exist over here. So it's always great to see if we can get more people from Twitch and maybe into this hobby, or maybe some new people joining the hobby. So with my number 5 this week is Moon Knight, number 22. I've been loving this as far as Jed MacKay. It's been a fun ride so far. Consistently liking it better than Daredevil. What can I say about this? It's probably one of the better versions of Moon Knight I've read in a long time. Now, I've read not all the way through Bendis or some of the other ones in between, but sorry. I'm not sharing it. I just pulled an angle team. My bad. All right. Yes. So, like I said, Moon Knight has been one of my standout books for me in Marvel. Now, some of you might be reading some of the other books, like Fantastic Four, and like if you're Zach, but this has been fun. I don't care for not Cheetah, but Tigra, the Marvel version. I don't care for her outfit on the cover. I personally would go back to the early 2000s, the bikini top, whatever, and but I understand they don't want to objectify women anymore, but. So, all they did was basically change the attire. Personality is still the same as far as I've been reading. I do wish it was $2.99. I mean, I feel like paying $3.99 for 28 pages when I'm getting like 4 ads in there is not worth the value. So I can see why some of these people would actually just rather buy the trade because you don't get any stupid ads of books you're not going to read. What's going on, Mark McGrath? Zach Chair does not give you the pass to say it. Mark saying, I hear this issue is more like Tiger also featuring Moon Knight, but I'm still going to check it out. And that goes back to the mid-70s. I'm assuming you're talking about what I said as far as I'm trying to remember. I was on a rant, but as far as her outfit thing, like I said, I've accepted it. It's going to change, whatever. But I'm at least drawing her, looking like a female. That's always a plus. She's not, showing up Moon Knight. Moon Knight is still able to kick ass in here too, and she's basically become a friend, but maybe might become more than a friend. I don't know. Okay, you're talking about the outfit. Yeah, I feel like her outfit's always been controversial as far as we should cover it up or we should show more. I think the 2000s they showed definitely do more, but then again, you read some of the older stuff, it all depends on the artist, I guess. But Midnight Man, well, welcome back. Yeah, we're just talking about Tiger's outfit, how it's changed over the years. Either it's bikini or it's covered up, or it's bikini. It's like it's the point where I'm at this point. It can be covered up. She's keeping the same personality. That's all. But yeah, I personally, I'm a cheesecake guy. I'd rather go back to the bikini she had in the 2000s. Whatever.
We don't need no personality. We just need hot babes.
We need actual women.
Just stay quiet in the corner. I don't care about your personality. That was very misogynistic. That was a joke. It's a total joke. If anyone, please don't be offended.
That was a misogynist joke.
Let's go back to the 90s where we could just joke about things and have fun.
I like this new quiet Zach.
Yeah, I had to go get Skip got me craving some tequila. And so for the show tonight, I was like, I'm going to pour myself a glass of tequila. But I don't have, when I drink tequila straight, I like it to be chilled. So I had prepared for the show. I put a glass.
Translation, I'm alone with Bankman on a live stream. I need tequila.
Right. It's good, man. It's good.
I'm offended. I've been making this joke for the past couple weeks. Love your work with Sugar Ray. I don't think Zach knows Sugar Ray, but they're a pretty big band in the 2000s.
This is for you, Skip. I'm holding up a glass, pinky extended. Patron Anejo, chilled to freezing.
Devil's water, your honor. Of the Mexican people, tequila. Yes, that has been your Skip and Tosh facts. And tequila, pinky extended. Jay says he goes back to the mid-70s too.
Yeah, dude, it's $100 bottle of tequila. I gotta drink it with pinky extended.
What brand name is it, you said?
It's a Patron Anejo.
Patron. I don't know why I'm thinking Jose Cuervo. What is that?
That is tequila. That's like the Budweiser of tequila.
Oh, I was gonna say I always hear.
If that is anyone's experience of tequila, then it's no wonder you don't like tequila. I mean, if you drank Bud Light as your only ever beer you drank, you can rightfully go beer's disgusting. I get it.
Do you not have taste buds? You're sipping it, so it's good.
Do you not have taste buds? Yeah, I have taste buds. Come on.
Overall, like I said,
you drink good tequila, it changes you.
Overall, I've been saying, like I said, I've been liking this. I don't really care for these Alex Ross things, but the Riley variant is kind of interesting. It's kind of weird though, as far as this cape.
You don't care about the Alex Ross? What?
Yeah,
that's heresy around the comics community.
I'm gonna buy all these covers, especially on books I don't even want to read, just to get the Alex Ross art. I'll just click right and save as. It's like, no thanks. All right, so that's my number 5 this week. Sir, what is your number 5?
My number 5 is, this is a tough one because it's rare that I have more than 5 to choose from, and this week I have 7, so I had to
Yeah.
eliminate 2, and it's tough because you know me, I only buy good comics, so they're kind of like
It's
all
tough.
my babies here.
It's literally what I do every week, man. I usually have 10 books on average, trying to narrow down to 5 when and when I'll like them equally.
So my number 5, you're ready to search for it. It's a little book by our boy Mark Millar about a bad guy named Nemesis. Nemesis Reloaded. It's my number 5 for the week. You passed it.
Did I pass already?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for a Pacific cover where.
Right there next to the clear cover.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. See, I'm looking. See, that's the cover I'm getting. The cover I'm getting is on here, the Booth variant, because that is just awesome. But please tell us more about.
That's a pretty cool cover.
Yeah. Tell us more about why this is your number 5.
Because I have 4 books that are even better. Presumably, I haven't read any of them, so this is just my anticipation level. This is not an indictment on Nemesis Reloaded by any means. There were 2 books that didn't make the list, so obviously I'm more excited about it than 2 other books. However, as good as it is, as much as I'm enjoying it, there's 4 other books that I'm just more enthused about cracking open.
Yeah, and I was looking at books. I'm like, oh, there's some cool books coming out, but I've never read like anything by the writer before or their books. So I was like, I want to read them, but I'm like, I'm hesitant too because I'm like, I've never, So like, kind of my list is kind of books I know I've liked in the past, and like I said, ranking them as far as which ones I'm more excited for. So might say I go based on the devil I know versus like getting excited over books I don't know about. So
it's also a good excuse to use my Reckless coaster. Hashtag Brubaker's the best.
I do like this cover though.
It's a pretty cool cover.
Okay,
I love Jorge Jimenez drawing Nemesis. Like he just gives him such personality.
Versus Steve McNiven did not so much.
Yeah, there's just you can just see like so much personality in the illustration that it cracks me up.
He's almost like trying to think of another character that's like this. We always get the Batman as far as comparisons to Nemesis, but I'm trying to think. There's another assassin that's kind of like quirky like him, evil. I'm trying to think. It's almost like I don't want to say the
Batman. Maybe you used to like associate with X-Force,
Phantom.
I don't know. A quirky assassin. Sounds like something Rob Liefeld would come up with.
It's almost like, in a sense, I get the sense of like Hawk, from Hawk and Dove. He just loves to fight and just make crack jokes and beats people up. Kind of that guy, or Wolverine does, make jokes.
Wolverine shouldn't be making jokes.
Well, he's become the joke. He can't really make the jokes anymore.
I mean, I never read Wolverine since the Bendis era, so maybe they made him quippy. But
he's not super quippy, but he's had his moments.
Wolverine's personality is very much like classic Batman. He's very stoic.
Yes, but like I said, if you go back to like the X-Men movie, and now don't hate on me because the LX movie. That's a totally different subject.
Hold me back.
Hugh Jackman giving the middle finger with the middle claw. His interaction with Cyclops. That's what I mean, jokey like that.
Hold me back.
Phantom X was another one too. Yeah. Then we have Slender as well today. Steve McNiven's art on the first Nemesis is just as good as Jorge Jimenez.
Oh, McNiven's great. I wasn't trying to slight McNiven at all. I was just noting that somehow just something about what Jorge Jimenez is doing, and like on that cover, just every time he draws Nemesis, the facial expression stuff, he just exudes personality on the illustration, and I just think it heightens already a well illustrated book.
It's like a Batman character, but he jokes like Bullseye in a sense when he kills. He enjoys it.
Yeah, he is a lot like Bullseye.
Yeah, that's Frank Miller, Bullseye.
Yeah, the good Bullseye.
Yes. Yeah. All right, so
That's my number 5. Nemesis Reloaded number 4. If you're not reading it, you should be.
All right. All right.
What was your? I missed yours because I was getting. I had to feed my
was
dog. Whoever got.
Oh, mine was Moon Knight number 22.
Oh, that's right, Moon Knight. I did come at the end of that. It's just such a forgettable book.
It was like wait, it was just forgettable, but you came at the end. Phrasing. All right. I gotta go to my number 4, and that is Ambassadors number 2.
Ambassadors number 2 is your number 4?
Yep.
Man, your list must be something special.
It is, especially when I saw your number 5. I was like, really, that low?
Really, Ambassadors is behind Reloaded?
Yes.
Because I know Nemesis is going to be on your list.
It is on my list. I just don't know which one it is.
I know, but it's ahead of Ambassadors is what I'm noticing.
Ambassadors, I was intrigued by the first one. Now, this is the make or break as far as whether I'm going to like this series or not. Because I saw how the first one set up. Now we're going to introduce the characters. But I hope like I said, I just don't want like this is this character and that's it. Hope they can there's a subplot going more. I want more of a subplot. I just don't want this is this character's backstory. This is this character's backstory. It's like, all right, you can just release that in a one shot, just basically showing like the secret files if you want to. I want the story to plot to at least advance a little more. So, and I said I don't expect from this either because the first one was interesting. It caught my attention. Have a
song. I don't know who wrote it or sung it, but it reminds me of "You Can't Always Get What You Want."
True story. Donald Trump created that song, and that's why they're mad. Tweet that out.
Okay.
Your dog's at the Zoomies.
No, she's just got claws on hardwood floors. Uh-huh. She's way too old to have Zoomies. She's hobbling around.
Get her some socks.
You get her some socks.
I will.
You don't need socks. You're a dog. Listen.
All right. What do you got here in the comments here? This isn't Quietly and Travis Cheris. And the next one says Mark McGrath.
This is a Carl Kerschel issue.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm very interested to see the various artists and kind of compare and contrast.
Nope.
Ronnie's calling me. She says, Ash doesn't know the Rolling Stones? Heretic. I know the Rolling Stones.
I'm sure you do.
A couple of good songs.
A couple.
Painted Black is really
we are not the music channel. We're not going to debate over what CDs and stuff and albums.
Undead Quinn gave his number 5. You don't want to skip him. He said Little Monsters number 12 is his number 5. And number 4, he says Dark Ride.
No.
Oh, and Zach's in the house. He says his number 5 is Captain America Cold War Special, number 1.
Yeah, he's watching from an undisclosed location in Alabama, hiding from the rednecks.
I'm gonna raise my glass to Zach. Good to see you, brother. Hope you're enjoying a good tequila like I am. Not that Cuervo crap.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to drink and host at the same time. That doesn't go well. But I was a designated drinker / co-host, so I could drink, So which ambassador was canceled first? No, it's basically they're creating a superhero team. 6 people are allowed to have superpowers, 1 from each country. And the country has basically to choose who that person is going to be.
There's like 200 countries, right?
Yes, but we're going for 6 countries, though.
I don't think it's 1 from each country. I don't think the math adds up there.
Well, we don't count the third world countries. Just kind of lump them together.
Oh.
We go by the Axis and the Allies, remember?
They didn't actually state what the criteria was, like where they'd come from. Theoretically, they could all come from the same country, I suppose.
Wow. The first one was South Korea.
Well, that was because she invented the...
Yeah. But the first hero after that, though, is basically going from India here. So we don't know, but what we're told here is that he's been training in their secret Antarctic base, which we saw in the very first issue. Interior art was awesome. I'm hoping that the art in here, like I said, this is my problem when you have a different creative come on, or you have the same writer, but you have a different artist come on to the interior. It can probably break the, I guess the, what do you call that when you immersion? Yeah. So hopefully it does well, but a lot of times I discovered that some of the books have the worst art and still got a good story. And I'm looking at you, Blood Tree. So you don't really notice it. So I don't know. Hi guys, keeping these hosts in line. Yes, they are. Under each of our chairs is a C4 device, and if we get too bad and start going Zach level jokes, one of us will die.
Man, skip with the harsh comment there. Show's falling apart without Zach.
Oh,
like I guess I'm just a piece of sliced liver. Yikes.
I see. You gotta do what I do. I just skip over Skip's comments. See, I can play that game too. The chairs are dabbing. All right, and I am thankful to everybody who's tuning in. MKF, yeah, it's nice to see you, dude. Dick Sergeant York, Undead Quinn. Anybody else who's watching? We have 15 people watching, so we must be doing something right. Or we're waiting to see which one of us.
Everyone, get yourself a glass of tequila, and I assure you the show will be better.
Everyone,
or at least your perception of it will be.
Please do not drink and then watch YouTube. You can become an alcoholic and also become a YouTube addict. Either one of those are good things. All right, so let's go to your number 4.
My number 4. It's a crossover.
Is it a
Any
Marvel
ideas what it is?
Not really.
Featuring some animal characters crossing over into their individual universes.
Danger Street? I don't know.
Man,
I really don't know. I don't know what books you read.
Couple of oh geez, it's Usagi Ojimbo Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. someone help this good boy. Teenage Mutant Turtles, Usagi Ojimbo, Where When number 1. This is my number 4. For those of you that know me, you know that Usagi Ojimbo is one of my all-time favorite comic book franchises. Adore this character. Stan Sakai has been writing this character for over 35 years. It's completely creator-owned, and the quality has never suffered. Like it's been relatively consistent all this time. It's just a fantastic book. It's unlike any other comic that's out there. I just adore it. And I'm really looking forward to see. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe this is the first time that the Turtles and Usagi are crossing over in Usagi's world, where this is the literal Turtles.
Yep.
The time before, it was like a reimagined Turtles that were like a what if Turtles existed in Usagi's world. And Usagi has appeared in TMNT, like in modern New York. That wasn't the same. So they've done different experimental ways they've crossed over, but they've never, in my understanding, they've never done it where it was like literal Usagi, literal Turtles, like, and also Stan Sakai writing it. So I'm excited to see how this turns out.
Yeah, this is on my pull list, but I did not make my top 5 this week because I've never read Usagi Yojimbo, so I didn't want.
I can understand.
Yeah, if I had read him before and like years past, you are, but
yeah,
I'd be even more excited about this. But like I said, I don't know what I'm getting into.
Although you are a Turtles fan, so I was kind of.
I'm a Turtles fan. That is true. That's why it's on my pull list.
Oh,
it's just not my top 5. I'm be picking it up, and who knows? This could be the gateway drug to reading.
Although you're a Turtles cartoon fan. You're not really a Turtles comic fan.
I do read the crossover. I've been reading the Power Rangers crossover, so I'm depending who's writing it. I might go back and start reading some of these. You know.
All right. Cool. Well, hopefully this doesn't disappoint either of us.
Right.
That's my number 4. Turtles Usagi.
All right, cool. Did we have a number? Any other books? So we just had Dark Ride by number 5 was Consequence. I don't think Zach had it either. All right, go to my number 3. And this is a book I'm just curious like how it's going to end. Knowing who the writer is, and it's Skip Tosh's favorite writer, Scott Snyder. Skip tells him how much he just loves the books. And Tony S. Daniel art on here has been fun too. I don't know how many more issues there's left of this series, but I've been loving every minute. Art has been great. I'm just emotionally invested in this book. I just one of those books I do not want to see end, but I also don't want it to be one of those books where it basically comes where I don't know what you're going to do at the ending, and that is fortunately with Scott Snyder. He has an idea, but doesn't know how to get there, or sometimes he stretches it out so much, he milks it, the point where it's like you're just begging for him to end the series. He's done that before. He did that with Batman and New 52. He didn't know how to end it, and he just wrote one of the worst endings as far as the last 2 volumes. It just sucked. After his Court of Owls, he did 0 Year. I did not care for his stuff. Now, I heard he's done well on Justice League. I did like him on American Vampire all the way through. I thought that was exceptionally well. So, like I said, I've been enjoying this. I hope it continues. He does well.
Yeah, amen. It's a good series. Props to Scott for writing an ongoing series where everything these days is miniseries.
Yes.
So I'm happy to support it. I'm like you. I want this book to just keep on going. Tony S. Daniel art. Like, this is a premium comic book. It's not always like the best written book. I'm not going to try to, but it's solidly written with outstanding art. And it's got a creative world that I enjoy the world building. And I like collecting comics. And this is definitely a recommend pull. I wish more people would support it so it would get more incentive to keep it running.
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't have a mid-ending like what was it, Berserker?
I thought Berserker had a good ending.
I thought it was average.
All right.
Who else? All right, let's go to my number 2.
Number? Wait.
What?
You're on number 2? I've only done 5 and 4. How are we going?
I just did 3.
No, don't I get to do 3?
Did you? What did you? Okay, I did 5 with Moon Knight, and then you did yours. Then I did Ambassador, and then you did yours. I did Noctera was my number 3.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't done 3 yet. You were going to go to your 2. I was just curious. Do I get a number 3?
Oh, that's right. Oh, hold on. Yeah, I did skip you. You're right. I'm sorry.
I'm Dead Quinn says his number 3 is Phantom Road.
Yeah.
So
let's go to your number 3 then.
All right, my number 3. My number 3 is. Ooh, this is a tough one. I'm very much anticipating all 3 of these books. So it's hard to say. I'm going to have to say this one has to do with a bunch of genies getting your wish. 8 Billion Genies. Number 8 is my number 3. This has been a super fun series. If anyone hasn't read it, I highly recommend picking up in the trade, picking up in digital collection. Getting the back issues are little tough to come by. This was a super popular book right out of the gates. I think it was optioned by Amazon right away, so the collectors, the speculators, nabbed it. I think it went into like 5th printing. So if you don't care about that, you can get the series and get like the later printings.
Yep.
This has been a ton of fun. I do not call myself a Charles Soule fan by any means, but I've been enjoying this. It's been a very fun ride, very much worth the read, in my opinion.
Yeah, the few issues I've read of this, I think I read 1 through 4 so far. or at least three. And we reviewed on your channel a couple months ago, and that was really good. A good idea. Love the art. Um, it's kind of out there, out of the box. It's not your normal storytelling, so it doesn't really pull from any tropes, which I thought was really cool. And it's just basically what we want from indie books. We want basically where you're able to do a book that could easily challenge any Marvel or DC book that's out right now. 8 Billion Genies. More people should read this. And yeah, I mean, the art's kind of weird with the genies, but once you read the plot and go with the genies and everything, it's like you're kind of captivated. But
Skip is asking about Undiscovered Country. Yes, I do read that, and yes, Charles Soule is one of the writers. He co-writes that with Scott Snyder. So while I'm enjoying that book, I don't think that that's enough to have one book where he's a co-writer to call myself a Charles Soule fan. So, but yes, that I do enjoy that book. I actually am enjoying this book even more. So there's something, I'm not a person who cares too much about being derivative. I get a lot of flack. Everyone knows I'm an Avatar fan, and there's a big jokes that haven't quite heard enough of, like, oh, it's Ferngully, like, and it's like people try to mock it to be like it's like a copycat film or whatever, or it's derivative. I'm not one of those people. Like, I'm like, go ahead and make derivative film. I mean, I love Cars. It's Doc Hollywood. I love Bug's Life. It's Seven Samurai, also one of my favorite films. Such as same with Magnificent Seven. I'm cool with like remakes and derivative stuff, but that doesn't mean I don't respect and appreciate originality and getting something I've never seen before. And 8 Billion Genies does that. It
of course, you enjoy this.
That's one of the things I'm really kind of giddy about. Is like, I've never seen anyone do this. Like,
yeah, I like
I'm really curious what you're gonna do.
Skip's like, of course you're enjoying it. Scott Snyder has nothing to do with it.
Ouch.
Undiscovered Country. I haven't read it. It's so undiscovered to me. Maybe one day I'll discover that book.
Undiscovered Country is cool, man. It's out there. It's if you like books that are just like what out in left field. It's a lot.
Is it like dystopian?
It's dystopian, but it's not. But it's also like weirdo. Like it's like out there. Like
so, it's not like Mad Max.
I kind of compare it to Lost. Remember the TV show Lost?
I hated Lost.
Okay. It's like Lost, but also like Walking Dead, because it's an ensemble cast of like all these like different characters that normally wouldn't really like get along, but they're kind of forced to because they're in a crazy predicament.
Yep. Skip's got it. You see what Skip has? His number 3? It's Nemesis.
His number 3 is Nemesis. Skip likes Nemesis more than I do.
Yeah. And Brain,
or just that I like more books than Skip.
Brain counting is hard, and actually, no, I've been sipping tequila. I ate before I did. Just about like half an hour ago, so it's kind of like kicking in. That food coma, you kind of want to relax. You kind of just want to like relax and just kind of take a nap, maybe.
RDV's been taking advantage of the high discounts on Bud Light.
I don't drink Bud. I never did before, so I don't need to spend $400 on stuff. It tastes like piss to begin with.
Just wait, man. Bud Light's you're gonna be able to find it at like clearance prices.
It's always Miller time,
and then it's gonna be like, oh man,
do
I drink Dylan Mulvaney bottles when they're only like 50 cents a beer?
No, or I just drank a Coca-Cola. I don't know. He said Budweiser's always been gross. Dylan just confirmed it. All right. 8 Billion Genies, man. Check it out.
8 Billion Genies.
And I've been reading his other one. It's another Charles Soule book he's been doing. It's Hell to Pay. I've been enjoying that. It's been pretty cool.
You're enjoying it?
Yeah. It's kind of like
I might check that out.
It's a couple that basically have without spoiling, is that they basically are forced to collect these coins in order to pay back a debt to this society. And these coins were stolen from hell. And this mysterious person, basically helps them locate the coins. He's basically held prisoner by this society. We don't know who he is, and that's about it. But yeah, All right. My number two is a book series I just been enjoying since as a kid, man, since the '90s when it came out and on TV, and then they decided to continue the comic book form. That doesn't give you a hint yet what it is. Let's see here. It is the Batman: The Adventures Continue, issue number 4. I just been loving this. Learning more about we got Hugo Strange. Whenever Hugo Strange is in the book, it's awesome. Especially with Paul Dini's writing it. Ty Templeton, who beat cancer, is now back to basically drawing. Monica Cubina has been one of my favorite art colorists. If you've ever heard me mention about that there was a colorist basically had books and stacks of Chastity books back in the day from the Chaos Comics. She was a colorist on Chastity back in the day. So she had stacks and stacks of that book, and she said nobody wanted it, so she ended up tossing them. Killed me when she told me that. Oh. I follow her on Instagram. Yeah, she's like, yeah, nobody couldn't even give them away. She tried to, nobody wanted them. You know, again, people were really big into Marvel, DC. Indies were kind of like, what? I guess indies were select cool kids were going in indies, I guess.
That's right. The cool kids are into indies.
Back then. All right. So I love the animated series. We got Harley Quinn as Harley Quinn in this. This is basically character's called the Straight Man, which is kind of funny in DC today with having Tim. I know, but anyway.
Is he the villain?
No, he's basically the henchman for Joker's henchman.
So he's a villain.
Yes, but we're finding out that he wasn't always a villain.
Well, straight men didn't used to be villains. Now they are.
Well, no.
Feels like a little comparison, like a little commentary on society, huh?
He and his partner, and it was revealed in the past issue that they were part of some secret soldier program, basically that, and he during the process, Hugo Strange is the one that was in charge of it, running the experiments. Joker got control of the trigger device, basically control this guy, and that's why now he's basically relapsing. The Suicide Squad are in this. It's really cool. Seeing that Amanda Waller you see on the cover there. So and Hugo Strange story. Like I said, I just love this classic '90s kind of like Batman feel.
Yeah. Adventures Continue is a good book.
Oh, like you said, Alan Burnett, Paul Dini working together, and Ty Templeton back into the interior. Cover artist is Jorge Corona.
I don't know why they just don't have Ty Templeton do the covers.
I don't know either.
So whatever.
Mike
Paul Dini on Batman. Yeah. Chef's kiss.
Yeah, Mike Perkins does this. This is alternate cover, and then we have Brian Boland doing the villain cover, the Man Bat. It's kind of cool. But then we get the stock card by Hayden Sherman. This is basically what you see the title card in the show.
Yeah, those I really like cool. These. I like those as alternate covers.
Yeah. If I can find these, I'll get them. But I hate having to pay $1 more for them.
Yeah.
They should be the main covers.
Yeah, or they should just be alternate, like normal, just alternate. Like paying $1 for card stock. Like, yeah. It doesn't cost $1 more for the card. Like, what is it? Like 5 cents extra from the printer to get the card stock, and then DC charges you all that markup. Yeah. It just drives me nuts.
Yes, Paul Dini did the Batman Beyond cartoon. Ash, what's going on, Dave? Good to see you here. Know. Yeah, like I said, I just been loving this series. That's why it's a little higher up. It's nostalgia for me too. Like I said, I read these books and I see it, know how he draws them. I just got the Kevin Conroy voice going in my head as I read these. I see the characters back from the animated series where they're drawn back then. Those versions, and then bringing in new versions like the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I like that they're using this as an opportunity to put characters from the DC universe that weren't in the Batman animated. Like we got Red Hood. Like Red Hood was never in the Batman, So that's pretty cool to see. Like, what would the Batman animated universe version of that character be like?
Deathstroke and his daughter Ravager were in the first season or first series. Because we're on season 3, as they call it, but it was like the first one, And also, I'm sure everybody already knows this, but I'll just say this: you go check out Kevin Conroy on YouTube. He's doing the voice acting he was reading. I think he read the first issue of the last one of season 2, or was it season? It might be season 1. It's been since a while, but he read it on his YouTube channel. It was just awesome to see.
Hey, I just thought of something. I want to shout out to comic creators out there everywhere. Open letter, comic creators. Can you please, just once maybe have a son or daughter of a character grow up to be something besides a copy of their parent? You know, can we have the daughter of whatever character grow up and be like, I didn't like this, my parent, I grew up to be like their polar opposite. Like this whole, like, everyone's like, oh, look, the son of Flash becomes Flash Jr. Like the son of Batman becomes Robin. The son of Superman becomes Superboy. The son of Deathstroke becomes Deathstroke. It's like
you get these characters that hate. I'm saying you get these characters that hate their parents, and then eventually come the reason why their parents did their decision. They kind of have respect and love, and then they take up the mantle.
They always, it's just like they just become. it's come on, like its thing is like if you look at reality, yes, kids do kind of follow their parents to a degree, but oftentimes they want to assert their independence and individuality, and so oftentimes, you know, you see all the time that kids kind of forge a different path for themselves.
So
and it just would be more interesting. It'd be more interesting for the characters. Like, who's your dad? Oh, my dad is this person. Like, what? Like,
is he rich like me?
Yeah, but it's always like, oh, look, they're just the same. Anyway, sorry, rant off.
Oh, I was just quoting Time of the Season. Is your daddy? Is it rich like me? Anyway, so yeah, I've been liking this. We're also recently discovering, it was earlier last year, that Mark Miller did Superman Adventures. Worked on that. And like I said, I bought the trade for that. I'm slowly getting to that. I've been reading through the Batman Adventures, Kelly Puckett, Todd Templeton doing art and everything. I just love the animated series version. Now, a lot of you are like, "Well, it's not the same as if they changed it. It's not the same as the comic books." To me, I kind of like it better in certain ways. Just kind of like there's those who love the X-Men comic books. I love the '90s X-Men cartoon more.
Yeah, Tim Drake's not gay in the Paul Dini version.
In this version, he hasn't. You know. Yes.
We still have the possibility of 10-year-old Jonathan Kent in the Paul Dini. We just need the Dini-verse.
Yeah.
Like, it's a safe space for comic fans.
Just go in there. Kevin Conroy's voice is permanently programmed into the Like I said, that's what I want. I just want them to basically. We can create some more Batman animated series. We'll just use Kevin Conroy. Like they use the AI. They can basically make it sound like so and so were talking, using your voice, other words you said before. It can actually edit. They could do that with Kevin Conroy. Imagine if they did that with all actors. You know how many voice actors would be out of business?
Oh yeah, eventually they're gonna.
Yeah, AI, man, strong, and it's gonna start voice acting.
I want to do that. I want to get a program so I can just have Kevin Conroy read me my Batman comics.
Good night, Ash. Night. Like they said, they had ways. Remember? I don't know if he recorded those or whatever. I imagine he recorded those, but I was like, hard turn left.
Yeah.
Hard turn right. Now go straight. That's awesome.
Skip says his number 2 is Ambassadors number 2.
Heck yeah, man.
Which is funny because my number 2 is also Ambassadors number 2.
Say what?
It's almost like great minds think alike.
Or you just
it's almost like
it's
almost like I'm Zach and Skip is my twin.
You know what I think it is? I think you just saw his panicked because you had Nemesis so low. You're like, I gotta be cool now.
I was gonna be cool. I'd put it at my number 1.
No, you're gonna be cool. Be reading the Avengers. Joe Fixit.
Maybe.
Avengers War Across Time and Joe Fixit, man.
That's not my number 1. Spoiler alert.
No.
Spoiler. Can you guess what my number 1 is? That's
your number 1 is Noctera.
We'll have to see. I have to see. But Ambassadors, I really, really enjoyed the first issue. We talked
Yeah.
about it on the Late Night Comics. We covered it. And I like Nemesis. I like Nightclub. I like most every Mark Miller book. But some are better than others. And there's sometimes where Mark Miller seems to be doing something really special. And that first issue, at least the first issue, I don't know where the rest is going, felt like the stuff that I was reading that he's done really special. I was like, oh, this has all the echoes that I felt like in those books. So it got me really excited.
I'm so sorry. I was reading Dave's Mr. T voice, Navistar, a negator. I pity the fool who doesn't turn around 100 feet. It's like, what? I just want, dude, I want Snoop Dogg for those things like, yo, turn left, the shizzle.
Well, the cool thing about Waze is even if they don't have the voice feature, you can create your own. It takes a little bit of work, but you can literally make anything you want on it. So I've been lazy, but I've been thinking about doing that.
Eric Breen, it's time to monologue as we go straight for 100 miles.
You have the Eric Breen navigate me around. That's what I need to do. I'm going to write a script and then I'll send it to Eric and have him record the lines and then I'll input them into Waze.
Yeah, I need the Palpatine version. For what? For what?
Skip says we can be twins for one comic, Ash. Oh, that's nice of you.
Tell Ash, there are people who don't want to be cool. Spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool. This is Carlito to be. Arnold had the whole thing too. Arnold actually did have a Waze thing. It was on there for a while. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
He totally did. That was my favorite one.
Snoop Dogg would get you lost in his eye. When he's recording it, probably he's like, I don't know where we're going, but we're going to go straight 2 feet.
The C-3PO one was pretty good too.
Oh man, I guess
it got annoying after a while though, because C-3, but it was
the Kevin Conroy Waze app feature was awesome.
That Kevin Conroy, of course, was dope.
The only thing was missing was the Batman Begins theme. Dun 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 dun. As you're driving, the car chase scene. That's what I wanted to play as I'm driving. But Ambassadors, Kyle Kershaw. Not to be confused with the other one, right? The one who worked on Harley Quinn.
No, that's what's his name?
Isn't it Keschel?
No. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank.
And it was Amanda Connor, and then you also had I thought it was the Keschels. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, it's the same artist that did King of Spies, and he did the cover art on the last Nightclub.
Eric would know if he's listening. Kessel, yeah.
No, it's not Kessel.
No, Mark.
I'm drawing a blank on his name though.
Christopher Walken.
Gonna make me look it up. I have it here at my fingertips. It is Matteo Scalera.
Well, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about the Kessels run.
You were talking about Harley Quinn.
Yeah, back in the day.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah. The Kessels were the big thing in Harley Quinn. That was people praise that as being one of the last.
No one cares.
No one cares because I hated Harley Quinn no matter what version it is.
Until Matteo Scalera drew her, and our boy.
See, Carl Kessel. That's what I said. So, that's what when I saw this guy's artist name. I was like, I'm like, it's probably Carl Kessel. It's Carl Kershaw. Maybe this guy it's a fake name. They changed the name.
I don't know what Carl Kershaw is famous for.
Neither do I. Couldn't tell you.
He seems to be. I don't know. Maybe Eric will slap me around. He seems to be the least famous of the artists on the list.
But anyway, like I said, we get a Frank Wiley. We talked about this before. We get the Frank Wiley variant right here. It's the detail on the very first issue with Wiley. I hope we get that same level of quality. It's very detailed as far as like in this book. Here's the Kershaw black and white, which is kind of cool too.
Oh, Kerschel did that. Remember that comic Isola? It was an indie book
Uh,
from Image.
El Muerto.
No, it's called Isola, Isola. He did the art on that. That's kind of what he's known for.
I only know
He's done a
Vicula.
bunch of other stuff. Nothing really stand out.
I don't know, but that'll be happy to slap you on anyway. Possible Jones apparently is what Castle's doing right now. Oh, cool. All right. Anything else to say about your number 2 pick?
Ambassador is just really cool. Like, it's only got one issue so far. It's not too late to jump in. You're gonna get some. Every issue has a different artist, which I know normally you go, what? But I think Miller has a plan for that. Like, there's a reason. I think each book is gonna feel a little not isolated, but like its own piece. But Travis Charest is coming back to do a book, and man, when was the last time he did interiors?
90s, maybe 2001. I don't know.
Yeah, I think like the early 2000s. He was doing Wildcats for a while, and he is man, he's pretty stellar. I think he went over to Europe for a while too, and was doing like Euro books.
Whatever it pays more, I guess, and you have a comfortable, schedule. They allow you to take more time. All right, so I'm going to give you a little countdown, guys. For those who are just tuning in, my number 5 was Moon Knight, number 22. Ambassadors, number 2, which we just talked about, was my number 4. My number 3 was Noctera, number 13. Number 2 was Batman, the animated series, basically, and Adventures Continue, number 4. And my number 1, because I haven't had a chance to talk about it. Everybody else has been talking about it tonight. I want to talk
number 1.
Number 1 is Nemesis.
Danger Street.
No. But I am looking forward to your number 1. We talked about Ryan North, so Fantastic Four. Nemesis has been one of those. I love the first series. I love Steve McNev's art. I love the storytelling.
You love you some Nemesis.
Yes, I just got done talking about another thing like this. It's called Rabbit Hole TV series, where what you see may not be what you're seeing on the screen. And as far as we know with this, I don't know if he's supposed to be a reboot of a series that was already done like about 10, 12 years ago. And he's bringing it the same characters, changing a little story. So I'm like, are we getting a red herring in this? Is this guy supposed to be Matthew Anderson? Is that really his backstory? Is he the only one? Is he going to win this time? And is the villain going to win? And then the hero, and you're just going to hate him because he won. Or is no one going to win? Like, I'm just curious because like when people go back and redo stuff, I'm curious to see what they're going to keep and what they're going to change. And unfortunately, not everybody likes that when it comes to reboots as far as for movies. So I'm like, you know what? It's the first time I've seen it done in a comic book where they've actually the same writer comes back and reboots. He changes it. Usually when someone reboots something, it's a different writer. So I'm looking forward to see how this ends. There's only one more book after this, as far as I know. It's going to be a 5-issue limited series, and which is different.
It's only 5? I thought it was 6.
Is it 6? Oh,
I don't know.
I think this is the last one. Let me scroll down. Yeah, I only see 5. I don't see 6 at all.
Oh boy.
So if there's only 5, because see, they already got the trade here.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that this is just volume 1. Because I hope it doesn't because that's one thing when we get some artists, some writers will condense everything into the last issue. And I'd rather have them leave me hanging for more on issue 5 and be revealed, you know what, we're coming back in later this season, later in the year, we're going to have the first issue of the next volume. Here's issue 6, and that's what I want. But because, like I said, I don't really like the miniseries like you. I want 15. I want 20. Let it go. If you're able to do that, which Scott has been able to do that, he's technically more of a hit or miss. But this isn't Scott though. This is Mark Millar, and Mark Millar always delivers.
That he does.
And Menez, but skips Skip, you're killing me here. Jimenez is going back to Batman, already confirmed. So, yeah. All right. Skip says his number 1 is All Against All. Number 5. Unday Gwynedd said his number 2 was also Batman. I don't think he listed his number 1 yet.
So I got a question about that because I talked to Skip about a month or two ago about All Against All because I was kind of curious and I knew it would be a book he was into because of the creative team. And I was like, "Hey, how about this book?" And he's like, he was just real casual about it. Just was like, "Yeah, it's good." Like, but he wasn't super enthused. He was, it's a good book. But now it's his number 1. So I'm like, does that mean the book's gotten better?
Oh.
Or what's the deal? Or is this just a really bad week for you? Can't be a bad week. There's too many good books this week.
Well, maybe
I have 7 books. That's how many good books came out this week. I have 7 books.
So my thoughts on that is maybe something happened in the last issue that really got him more excited for that versus the other ones would be kind of slip and becoming kind of this meh, they're great, but like this one, something happened in that book, it just really shot it to number 1.
Oh yeah, that can happen. That's why I'm curious.
And Quinn says Ziltoid, the Omniscient.
Omniscient.
Whatever. Omniscient.
The Omniscient.
Number 1, Coffee, Aliens, and Art by Andy Kuhn. I'm all in, he says.
You had me at Coffee and Aliens.
Yeah.
How am I missing this comic? It's got Coffee and Aliens.
Wait. Are they little aliens with 4 arms drinking coffee? Is this a Men in Black reference?
I have no idea. But Zach is catching up. He says he's behind. His number 4 is Ambassadors number 2. His number 3 is the Ryan North Fantastic Four. He has Ryan North Fantastic Four ahead of Ambassadors. Can you believe that? His number 2 is Guardians of the Galaxy number 1. And his number 1 is Moon Knight 22.
Oh, see, he goes to Jed McKay. I go with people being murdered.
Skip says the book has gotten better, especially on the last 2 issues.
Yeah.
And he was behind on the book before. So
see, Guardian of the Galaxy is also on my pull list, but it's by Lanzing and Kelly. And I don't know what to expect from them on this. So I will wait to the second issue. Hopefully it's good though. It is weird though that they got rid of for Guardians. They've gone back more to the movie crew cast versus before they had Filevel and what was the guy's name?
I would expect more of that.
Morlock,
since,
yeah, they're sinking.
Since Perlmutter got axed and Kevin Feige is exerting his control. So I would expect Marvel Comics to fall more into supporting the MCU.
Yep. Yeah, the movie coming out. So, like I said, I'll judge it this Thursday. If it's good,
hopefully it's good.
Bad or mid. Like I
said, you know what? At least they didn't put a bad team on it.
Like Al Ewing again.
Al Ewing is not necessarily bad. I didn't like the way they handled the transition from Cates to him.
I like any
sense, but
I like Dan Abnett's run.
Well, fair enough. I mean, but
everything falls short of Dan Abnett's run. Sorry, but then hey, we got guys like LK who like the original Guardians.
My point only was they didn't put like
T. Franklin.
Yeah, T. Franklin on the book or something. Like
why isn't Danny Lore writing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, or Vita. Yeah, where's Vita? Did she just get let go? I haven't seen her anywhere.
I have no idea. She's probably writing half the X-Men books. I don't know. I don't.
The X-Men books.
I don't follow her.
T. Franklin didn't get any books anymore? That's a good question. I'm sure she'll show up in Pride Month.
Mark McGrath says Lansing and Kelly are pretty bad. Are they bad though? Like on like old school like Gage, or bad when you put them next to like T. Franklin and Teenie Howard and Vita Ayala? All of a sudden, Lansing and Kelly seem like superstars.
Yeah, so I would kind of disagree. On that statement, because I did like the Void song, Aquaman and Flash Void song they did over there at DC. They also did the Batman year, where it's basically Terry McGinnis without Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is passed on, and he's basically forced to go old tech like Bruce was, never having done that before, and trying to save Gotham. I did like that. I've been liking the American Captain America book with them. It is ups and downs, but I wouldn't say they're bad. I would say they're
mid.
Yeah, pretty much. You could say that.
Yeah. They're like Jed McKay.
T. Franklin is doing My Little Pony and still managed to make a self-insert. And like I said, you could say that Lanzing and Kelly are bad compared to Peter David, sure, but that's how much every writer working today, except for Mark Waid. I'd still say Peter David's better than Mark Waid.
Mark Miller.
Yeah. Like I said, there's a lot of
Ed Brubaker.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about current Marvel DC pulpens.
Yeah. Rom V.
Rom V is basically a lone child in that sea. He's on a raft, trying to make it to safety. Yeah, like I said, there's I like Peter David's Joe Fixit right now, and it just shows you how well you can write Spider-Man, and you get more sales. I guarantee if you look at the sales of that, I wouldn't be shocked if it gets more sales than the Spider-Man book that's out right now. When you make Spider-Man to be a hero instead of being a villain, actually has.
Fortunately for Marvel Comics,
yeah,
most of the people that buy their books don't buy their books to read, so they're able to get away with just making trash.
And that's the thing. I think this company has become more of a collector thing than anything else. Covers, variants.
Well, it's been that way since the direct market.
Sure,
that's
collectability
is what saved the industry,
and that's why you're seeing more of the prices go up, because you realize these idiots are going to buy these variant covers at higher prices.
Right, and they realize that losing the collectors is a bigger deal than losing the readers.
Yeah.
And so they can throw these people like Vita Ayala on a book who works for peanuts, and they lose a couple readers, relatively speaking, because they're like, I don't want to read this crap. But the collector's like, I just get it because I like the characters, and I've been collecting this book for 20 years, so I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
And they just keep buying it. So
let's go to your number one. But give us a little
recap.
One. 5 through.
That's what everyone's waiting for.
But let's get a recap for those.
My recap. Fresh. So my number 5 was Nemesis Reloaded. My number 4 was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Usagi Yojimbo, which is Stan Sakai book, creator and writer of Usagi Yojimbo, one of my favorite comics of all time. And my number 3 is 8 Billion Genies, the conclusion to this wild, fun ride that Charles Soules. I will see how he sticks the landing. I'm cautiously optimistic. It's been super fun. If he can somehow wrap it up nice and neat and give me a really good ending, this will be this could be potentially one of the best books of the year. And my number 2 was Ambassadors. And finally,
hold on, let me click on it. I think I know what it is. It is Star Wars Ewoks, right?
Man, how'd you guess?
It's Return of the Jedi.
I'm only because Alyssa Wong is writing it. Like,
you won't be Wong on that.
About the Ewok stuff, but
you can't be Wong.
Marvel pulled out all the stops to put Alyssa Wong on that book. No, that's not my number 1.
Wildcats?
Hell no. Oh my gosh.
Where are we going here, son?
You need to scroll down.
Oh, really? How far down am I going here?
Yeah.
Clear?
Keep going. There you go. Stop.
Chroma.
Go up to the red afro. There we go.
Yep.
Chroma number 4. Strange that this is my number 1.
It's the alligator that wears a red wig.
I fell in love with this comic. This comic it's kind of like a children's fairy tale, though it doesn't feel childish. It just feels classic. It's creative. This world where all the animals they can only see color. They can't see black and white. And so the people hide themselves by painting everything like white. And so the animals they live in their cities and stuff, and they think that the animals are all demons. And the main character is this little girl Chroma, and she's got two different color eyes. She's got a green and one green and one blue eye, and they think she's a demon. And it has some social commentary aspects to like society and prejudice and things like that, but it's very light. It's a very delicate hand. It's not a preachy book by any means. It doesn't feel political. But when I say it, I mean in the sense of kind of like old classic fairy tales. Like there's a little bit of a lesson, little morality tales in there. And this just feels like one of those. And the artist is the same artist who did Oblivion Song, which I'll be the first to admit, I didn't buy Oblivion Song because of the art. At the time, I was like, I'll just tolerate the art because I like Robert Kirkman. I like the story and the concept really grabbed me. And so I don't know why I got this. I read the preview story in the Skybound X books. And this preview story is not even really a preview of this. It's like a little short story that takes place in the world, but doesn't even have to do with the character. I don't know why. I picked up the first issue, and it just really captured me. And this is another thing. You'll notice the price tag on these. They're $7.99, and I'm the guy who's always bitching about prices on comics. Like I'm like, oh, it's more than $3.99. Take a hike.
But if you're getting 56
but if it's
pages,
exceptional, if sometimes I feel like a hypocrite, but also the book is big. Like these are like 70-page books, so you're not getting like a little 25-page little thin floppy for this price. You are getting thick book. So it's 4 issues is the total thing. At the size of the books, it's almost like a 12-issue miniseries you're getting. But it flows really nice. His art in this book is even better than Oblivion Song. I think that's because he's also writing the book. And I think when an artist is their own writer, they know to write stuff that they can draw. Oftentimes, when you're an artist and you have a separate writer, the writer just writes what they want to write, and they don't know. Like they may, if they're close with you, they may know, but otherwise, like, oh, you don't know how to draw feet, Rob? Sorry, I drew a lot of feet. Like, so that might be why the art excels. Just a very imaginative book. Like I said, I just find myself feeling joy when I'm reading the book. Like I don't ever feel like frustrated. I don't ever feel bored. I don't ever feel there's never like a negative experience. I'm like turning the pages and I'm like, wow, this is a really good kind of like feel like this is what comic book reading should be. Not just comic book reading. This should be your experience in any form of media, whether you're watching a movie, a TV show, you're reading a regular book. You should just have that feeling of like enjoyment and just being like, this is like leisure time and I'm feeling good about what I'm doing and I just want this to keep going. A lot of comic books, even the good comic books, sometimes I feel like I have to put effort into them. I feel like, this book was really good, but like there was 10 pages that I like really struggled to get through, or man, the first couple of issues were kind of slow, but finally like it built up. I feel like a lot of comics to this days, there's like a but. Like it's a good book. I'm enjoying it, but Chroma's not like that. Chroma to me from right from the get-go, I was like, I'm just happy to read it.
I like the fact that I just noticed that this is Image.
Mm-hmm.
Image is putting out a lot of really good books lately.
Image / Skybound.
Yeah, Skybound obviously is a great company that's basically teams up with Image.
That's Kirkman's imprint at Image. Yeah.
Yeah. The other book we got going on here, I talked about this recently in the past month or two, has been The Barbarians. It's another Image book that's been popping up on my radar. I just slowly been noticing a lot of these books. I'm like, wow, where are these little indie books coming out? These because usually like a book like this, I wouldn't expect it to be an Image. I thought this would be like a small publisher like Scout or something like this, you know. So Image is kind of like branching out as far as what books they put out, and adding new creators with new interesting stories. So I like seeing that, you know.
Yeah. And Undead Quinn says he used to buy double cover, but nowadays he can't defend it. And I'm kind of with you, Undead. I'm kind of like, you know what? If you would cut this book into smaller chunks and charge $3.99, I would rather do that. Like I would rather pay $3.99 for a normal 20-page floppy than pay $4.99 for like a 30-page book. And I know that sounds weird because you're getting more like more pages for your dollar, but I look at comics as like bite-size portions. I'm not there to buy
A meal.
bulk. I'm not going to like Costco and buying by the case, you know, like I'm buying by the bite-sized piece. And I'd rather every month just give a little bit of money and get a little dose so I can get more books. As comic books increase in price, yeah, look, it's twice the size, it's twice the price. But that's why I don't like the bi-weekly books either, because it overall impacts my monthly budget, and it means I can buy less books. Like if I were just buying, like some people are into the omnibuses. Well, if I was only buying omnis, I could buy like one every couple of months, you know, but that's it. Like, and I like the variety. And so I totally understand where you're coming from. However, in this day and age of kind of like famine and drought, when you come across something that's really special to you, at least like you really enjoy it. And that was the thing with Chroma. I only was like, I'm just going to get the first issue and try it. It's expensive. I only thought it was going to be expensive for the first issue as well. Yeah, and sometimes I'll make exceptions when it's like, oh, double size, you know, special issue. And then it turned out every issue was that. I was like, oh, but do I stick with it?
So Mark,
but the thing is, they won my business, and at that point, I was like, all right.
Mark says, "Chroma is kind of book you hope to find and take a chance at independent title. Basically, very rewarding. Get rid of the independent title. Just put any book today. You take a chance on it, and 9 times out of 10, I've lately Marvel for me and a lot of people just pick up a book. It's like you're paying more for this, and it's a letdown. So when we find a book, you're like, holy crap, who's this writer? Ram V? Who the hell is this guy? And you see some of these writers stand out, and it's just like, wow. So that and sometimes that hurts the company more than it actually is done for the company. It was just good. It used to be good because like every writer was good like this, you know. With so many writers, if you're actually say few writers working at Marvel and DC, the big two, being good, and when they leave, people tend to follow them because they don't want to take a chance at some of the other writers. Because they've been burned at this point. So if they do find one, like it is so hard to basically go back and try to find another Ram V, or try to find another I guess for me it'd be a Jen McKay or even a Donny Cates, you could say. It's to the point where the company you're used to buying so many bad books, and after a while people just stop. They won't even bother go looking. If anything, a lot of guys, like you tell me, you guys buy back issues. I can respect that. But you know, it's one of the cons of the business is when the companies start caring less about the customer and more caring about what agenda they can virtue signal. That really kind of ruins it for all of us, because we all just want to. It's basically supposed to be you want to immerse yourself into something that's not reality, a fantasy world where we can just escape, have fun, and relax, enjoy. You know, good storytelling. You know, I mean that's why I read them.
Yeah. So in answer to the question, is it getting a hardcover? Probably not. I don't think the book is popular enough, but they have solicited a trade, and it's being solicited with a cover price of $19.99 for a trade. And these books were about the same size as the Ultra Mega books, which is another series I love. They were $7.99 a piece, and that trade was nice and thick. So I'm guessing it's going to be like that. Might be a good buy. I have to see how it ends. I've only read the first 3 issues. Sometimes you don't stick the landing, and it doesn't matter how good the ride was if it just falls off a cliff at the end. Who knows? Lorenzo De Felici, he's an artist. I don't know if he's written things before, but I came into this book going, okay, I guess you're gonna, ever since Todd McFarlane got Spider-Man back in the day, I was like, artists think like, I was like, oh, another artist think they can write. They don't always, but this he can write. He's got some chops. So I might pick this if this book really sticks to landing. I might pick this up in trade, especially if I can get off like in stock trades, 42% off. That'll be like $12 book. Totally worth it.
Speaking of trades, this is the trades coming out this week. We got Batman Detective Volume 4, which is actually volume like 400 something, right? I don't want to keep calling it. It's not really Volume 4. Yeah, riddle me this. I think that's Miracle Tamaki on there. Okay, that was a right story. It's what her last run before for Ramsey took over. Vanish. It's the Donny Cates book with Ryan Stegman, Volume 1 out there. Yep, trade cover. We only find them when they're dead. Yeah, Volume 3 of that trade. You can skip the Son of Kal-El unless you really like that. And if you do, tell me down below in the comments why you love that more than you like the good books there on here.
Look at the gall on them to put the Superman #1 homage cover.
Yeah.
Get out of here with that. You disgrace. That like I'm like visibly I'm like annoyed. I see that cover. First of all, you're not Superman. You're his kid.
Yes.
Like, and we don't even know if you're his legitimate kid. I'm still convinced that you are an Earth 2 clone, like not a clone, but like a variant. And then the real John is still trapped on Earth 2.
I still say he was groomed by his uncle. That's why he came out when he came back.
He was groomed by the evil. What's the evil Superman of Earth 2? Is like Ultraman or what's his name?
Yeah, I don't know. Ultraman is there's if you're talking about the crime syndicate.
Yeah.
We got Ghost Rider Volume 2. This is basically Benjamin Percy, who I believe Undead Quinn has been saying he's been really enjoying this book. I hear other people saying they're enjoying it too as well. You have to check it out, maybe. All right. Then we have X-Men Epic Collection Legacies. This looks like it's Lordell and then Nasesia, the 90s, I guess. We're probably going to be mid-90s here after Jim Lee left. So it looks like.
Yeah, so this was after Jim Lee left.
Yep.
And your favorite penciler, John Romita Jr., was on for a while.
Yeah.
Chris Bacalo did some stuff. Andy Kubert.
Yep.
Is it Kubert? I always call him Kubert.
Yeah.
But Fabian Nicieza and Scott Lobdell took over X-Men after Claremont and stuff left. And they did a reasonable job. Like, no one's Chris Claremont, but they did a pretty decent job keeping the ship afloat. But I would not start here if you're anyone looking to get into X-Men like trades and stuff.
Early
go
80s.
Back to the Claremont stuff.
Was that early 80s?
I mean, Claremont started in the 70s, but
John Byrne coming in.
I mean, I got into X-Men like 210 was my first issue. I think issue 200 of Uncanny X-Men is a really good place to start. That's the Trial of Magneto. But you can pretty much pick up anywhere you want. The beauty of comics back in those days is you didn't have to like start at the beginning. They were designed to you like jump in on the story. But I think issue 200 is just kind of a good place. It's got a nice big event going on. Some new characters like Rachel Summers gets introduced right away in there.
I guess I gotta say though, I still like the lineup of this on here.
This X-Men. This is the classic. This is my X-Men, man. The Jim Lee Claremont X-Men it's my favorite. This is their team.
Yeah.
I'm not a super beast guy, but whatever.
No, but I appreciate him being like the science guy. But you have
I appreciate
on there.
He had some funny dialogue lines, Kate.
Still got that. Still got Gambit, Rogue. You got Cyclops and Wolverine. No Jean Grey because she was dead at this point, right? After the Phoenix thing. This is 297 and 300 of Uncanny X-Men.
Well,
Which is
this
90
is if this
92.
is
Yeah.
it's hard to say because they divided the X-Men into two teams, blue
Yeah.
and gold.
Yep.
And Jean Grey was leading. I think she was leading one of the teams. She was on the Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah, this is where they go to visit the Russia to visit Magic. It was probably originally was part of the New Mutants.
Yeah,
Yeah,
before
Soul
she was
Skinner.
the Sorceress
Yeah.
Supreme.
Yeah. She never was Sorcerer Supreme though.
Well, not an official title, but they turned her into like super mega sorceress.
She's basically realized her destiny and exceeded that. Okay.
Fair enough.
She became more important than Colossus. Yeah. All right. So go back over here.
Eric says X-Men didn't matter until Teeny and Vita saved the franchise.
Exactly.
And then Mark, I think, is correcting me. He says Earth 3 is Ultraman. I thought Earth 2 was the villains.
No, Earth 3 was Crime Syndicate.
Earth 3 is?
Yeah. Earth 2 is pretty much that's where Helena Wayne's from, I believe.
In the Bendis Superman, didn't Jonathan Kent go to Earth 2 or did he go to Earth 3?
I don't know about that, but I know he
Whatever, doesn't matter.
He just
But thank you
Anyway.
for correcting me. I do not like being incorrect. So if I am, I would like to
and
know
we
about
enjoy
it.
it more when you are.
Yeah. No, I mean that's how you get correct is when you know when someone points out you're wrong and then you can move forward. You know.
Yeah.
It's like
So
when
we got here. We
you
get,
mispronounce
yeah.
words and then people correct you so you can not. Never mind.
As Eric said, just brace it. I just do it more because everybody gets a kick out of it.
Hey, Rachel is in the chat trying to
Hey.
poach our viewers.
Wow.
Wow.
Really? Wow. No, we're good, Rachel. We're over here talking about comic books. You can go play.
Wow.
Don't worry. We're almost done over here. Then people can go over there if they want to, or they can watch them both at the same time. You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
I think Zach's probably already over there.
No, Zach's on vacation. He's not playing tonight.
Oh, he's not playing? I
Yeah.
thought he'd find a way to sneak in some time.
Maybe. I don't know. But he's in Alabama. With banjo on his knee. All right, so this is the other Guardians Galaxy we're talking about. That's what a lot of people really love. This is you had Gerber, Stern, Buscema, Heck, and Milgram on this. Collecting, basically.
Is that the Guardians 3000?
Yep, 31st century.
Yeah,
Thousand
I
years
like
from
the
now.
Guardians 3000.
A lot of people like this. So when they introduced the Chris Pratt version, a lot of people were kind of ticked because like they took a back seat. They redid
Whatever.
Guardians.
The Chris Pratt version is awesome. Like more.
Yeah.
If I'm going to give MCU props on anything, it was how they made Guardians of the Galaxy relevant and entertaining. Like, just bravo. You took a property that no one thought you had any rights to do good, and you did good. I wish you could do as good for all your other properties as you've done with Guardians of the Galaxy. They still have room in the future to adapt this if they want. Like, one does not eliminate the other. So,
And you read the Dan Amlett run from a couple years back, Vance Astro and these Guardians do make a crossover with the Chris Pratt one in the comics. That's kind of cool.
it's very likely we're going to get this because the Guardians we know, those actors are going to age out of the role. And we already got Batista saying he's not going to do anymore.
No, he's done with that.
And Drax is literally, I mean, I'm not a big Dave Batista fan. You guys were slobbering over him on East Channel. Or not you guys. I was on East Channel earlier and people were like, oh, Dave Batista. I was like, whatever. I don't think he's that good of an actor, but holy, he owns Drax. Like,
Yeah, that's what I mean. If he's good at that.
he is so good at that. Like, he made that role not just like accurate to Drax. I don't even think it's accurate, but it
He
has
created his
so much
own version.
personality.
Yeah, he created
It's
his own
like-
version of Drax, the
Yeah.
James Gunn kind of like he's kind of slow, but he loves the fights. You know.
Yeah, his version of Drax, like it's to me now, it's kind of this like it's the
Yeah.
Drax that everyone's gonna
Everyone
copy
knows.
going
Yeah.
forward.
Everybody loves it. One. Notice a pattern with Bendis and Tom Taylor run a John Kent. His middle name isn't Samuel. Oh. He was Johnny Samuel Kent, wasn't he?
Tehillim is the expert.
don't know.
We would defer to him.
It's not the Tomasi Jurgens, John Samuel Kent, yeah. Who knows? That you said that could be the way. You could easily could say that's not John.
That's my headcanon, is that my John Kent is still on Earth 3,
And then Jonathan
captured by Ultraman, being
Jonathan.
tortured.
So oh my gosh! So we'll go with that theory, and then Jonathan Kent shows up, and he goes super.
Yeah, and the
Prime.
current one is Ultraman's kid.
Yes, and Jonathan becomes Superboy Prime, the one that's been missing. Because his dad gave up on him, and we had this imposter. You couldn't tell, Dad.
Or he was sent to
Yeah.
infiltrate and subvert.
Yeah.
And you could write this whole epic storyline about how Ultraman wants to take over, the Prime, Earth Prime. What is it in the comics? Earth Zero? I can't remember.
DC Earth Prime, yeah. New Earth.
Yeah, you could do a whole thing. Of course, DC doesn't have the stones to do that because the 12 Twitter psychos would get in an uproar and be like, "Oh, you're just transphobic and gayphobic."
Honestly, I wish Marvel and DC had a no social media policy for their writers. Do you know how much? Oh, the diva, they're like, "Oh, I can't tweet." Oh, they protest and they're like, "Look at, they're oppressing us." No, we're calling. Is either you do your work and you shut up. It's like me work. If I worked for a grocery store, I worked or any store, I work for Lowe's, and then they started spouting off stuff. It kind of makes the company look bad, doesn't it? Well, this guy works for this company. Why are you hiring these kind of people? You think the people you hire are supposed to represent you. And if they are bringing in bad, attention to you, they have every right to fire you. But because these guys sign contracts, it should be in the contracts. Sorry, if we find something that causes harm to the company, we're allowed to break our contract with you and cancel your book and replace you.
Right.
People,
well, the problem though is
that
these people aren't making books that the higher ups don't want. The higher ups want this.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying,
as evidenced by what we saw with Anheuser-Busch. Like,
if we lived in a Jim Shooter era,
how many billions has Anheuser-Busch lost thanks to that VP's decision? And they're like,
well,
they don't care. Like, they're just like, whatever. Kathleen Kennedy still has a job. They greenlit a new Rey Star Wars film.
I want to say this: is it a bad thing if people are buying beer, the protest, and pour it down the drain?
I don't know. I'm laughing. I'm just like,
I know. But no, apparently the Duke, the whole Dylan thing, and as long as I'm just gonna say this much, we're done with that because that's nothing to do with this,
right?
But, but I'll just say this: that character, that person, people get perks or I guess whatever they use credits, social credit or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all they use in this person. They're basically taking advantage of this person who basically is not right in the head. And
for sure, they're getting exploited.
Yes.
So my point though isn't to say anything about that, but more to the point, like, and used to be, you would see like, oh, company X is doing some bad decision and it backfires in their face, and then they like immediately do a 180 and go, whoa. But nowadays they like make bad decision and it's like, nope, double down, full steam ahead. And I was going back to the Kathleen Kennedy example because it's like, dude, how many mistakes have we seen happen with the Star Wars IP? And like after the atrocious, Star Wars Episode 9 and completely obliterating one of the most beloved franchises in film history. And they're like, oh, let's get Rey back and do another movie with her and be like, what? And you're getting some director that no one's ever heard of. I can't even. It's like, what does it take to get fired? Well, what it takes to get fired is actually to go against the agenda, because clearly money's not the issue. Star Wars is losing money. They're not losing money in the way that like they're hemorrhaging money. They're losing money on the table, right? Star Wars should be able to do like $1 billion movie every year. That's that big of a franchise. Star Wars hasn't done a movie in years now because everyone's afraid. The streaming shows are falling apart. Fans are just backlashing left and right. They're in the middle of destroying the only show that fans are like, okay, we're pissed off at everything you've done, but we love Mandalorian. And they're like, nope, cut, hold on. We're going to completely castrate Mandalorian now. Like,
so
anyways,
anyway,
you know what I'm saying? My point is just these companies, they don't care about money. They're really showing it's like, well, as long as I'm got a job, I'm going to keep ordering these things because they get a paycheck.
Look, guys, cheesecake. let's try not getting any rants, okay? I know you're.
That's a good cover.
This is this guy. This is the variant. This is a normal one. $18 and 12 pages. Charles Ardai is it, and I said this is a book that really not meant for. If you're under 18, you should not be reading this. I'll just say that. There is some nudity in this. It's all topless, no nudity. A lot of sexual situations, but overall, it's basically it's your crime, thriller, cheesecake. Hot dames fighting each other using guns. Your femme fatale is which I do describe this. I own all the issues. I thought about buying the actual trades. I would love that they did deluxe versions.
I like that cover.
It's like I said, they're doing they know their audience. Gun.
I mean, it's not even just like the cheesecake. A lot of their covers are cheesecake. I just think it's a really
the gun
well designed.
Yeah,
I like that she's covered in honey, but it's appropriate. Like the title of the book's called Gun Honey.
It's like what was it? What was the one we had? Not GoldenEye. What was it? Goldfinger. When you in the opening of the James Bonds, you see the girls covered in gold. So they're taking that aspect, using the hot girl, and she's covered in honey. They got the gun there. You got the quote there from Ed Brubaker, the finest kind of pulp noir. And then you got the title going down here. Like they know what the audience likes, And then here's like the other covers are kind of like a little different. There's a direct market, and there's a Hughes special edition. More classic, more like your '60s kind of style art.
Yeah, I do like that. I do like that style too. It's not bad. I could go either way, but normally I don't go for the cheesecake stuff. To me, cheesecake to me is a little cringe. Like if I feel like embarrassed that my mom would see it, then I don't want it, type of thing. But I just think it's a well designed cover.
I'm not even waiting for the mom. It's more like I have nieces. Like, oh, what's that? And Uncle RDV, and it's like, oh, that's something you can't watch. No, like that's why I gauge on stuff. If it's something very kind of like this, I wouldn't let my nieces see because they're like 12.
Well, I'm glad for that. I'm saying for my own taste, though, I don't like having things too risque. Like for a long time, that was a barrier for anime for me for a long time because so much anime is like the Japanese, they just love to throw all their sexual stuff in there. I was like, oh, come on. But be that as it may, the first series was really good. I didn't read the second one. Mark says that the second one took a bit of a dip. Do you agree with that? How do you feel?
A little bit, but I think I still think it panned off in the end. That was pretty good. It's interesting because I know Skip was reading this, I believe, and so was Eric. And seeing all three of us reading like this, and it's kind of seeing we all did kind of different opinions on this. I like both. Now I like the first one a little bit more, sure. One
thing I really enjoy about the Gun Honey, I tend to stay away from like the badass babe stuff. Like to me, it's not my cup of tea. And so when Gun Honey first came out, I was like, oh, look, another. But I really appreciated this story here. For those that may not be familiar, the whole thing about Gun Honey is it's an interesting proposition. Like her specialty is getting guns into highly secure locations
For
for
people,
someone else.
yeah,
Like she's not the badass going in gun
No.
blazing, kicking everyone's ass. She's just the super like good like espionage, like sneaking in, and she's got skills, but they're not like manly skills. And
yeah,
I was like, oh, thank you. You can write an awesome like female character who's easy on the eyes,
yep.
but also just like not trying to be better than men at everything men normally do.
She uses her wits, and she also uses her femme fatale, I guess, basically her goods, her looks, to basically either seduce men or distract them from what she's actually really doing. Like you said, she basically, if you pay her, and what she does, she'll plant a gun for you need to. So you're going to assassinate somebody, but you can't get. It's hard to get a gun in. So her job is sneaking in, planting the gun, and then and then as soon as you pay her, she lets you know where the gun is. Problem with the second one is because she gets it's a story about revenge. Because something she did, now somebody wants revenge because she planted the gun that was used. Now, like I said, I may not see like, oh, that doesn't sound that enticing, but like I said, I liked it all the way through. Every cover was like pretty cool, and then you had your risque cover because this is my shop. One shop did not. He's like, I got kids that come in here. He keeps them behind the book, behind the counter, so kids can't see these. Other shop, it's right on the wall. You can see.
This one's not that risque. I mean, she's
no. Yes, but there were covers that were nude covers too.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and
oftentimes it has to do with kind of like the poses and stuff.
But even this, though, people were. He's like, I don't want people ruining the covers because these books were selling like hotcakes. People were really invested in getting these books. So also another reason he kept them off the shelf. If you want it, he's got it back there, so no one would dig in the corners or covers, But yeah,
Skip's roasting me here. He's like, Ash is scared of strong female leads. Confirmed. Dame's only for Ash. That's why he likes Criminal. I like strong females.
Yeah,
but to me, a strong female is strongly feminine, right? They're not like that character that they added in Last of Us 2, who looks like a man, and like I don't. If you're making a woman into a man, that's not a strong woman anymore. That's just
you don't like the girl
man woman.
You don't like what's his name? I think her name was Greta. I can't remember what her name was. I think it was I want to say Greta or whatever. You ever watch you remember I believe it was either Princess Bride or the Men in Tights. I think it might have been Men in Tights, where the princess, basically was or Maid Marian, whatever. Yeah, I think it was Men in Tights. The big, strong, butch female. That was she fell in love with Little John. In the story, I think that is what I'm talking about, right? She's like, they all jump off, and Marian jumps and lands on the horse, and then she's like, "Oh, I'll do it too if I'm the cat." And then the horse moves like, "You stupid little horse," and not because he didn't want to be crushed. like I said, that's like I strong women like that. I don't mind.
Men in Tights was like slapstick. It's a lot easier to tolerate it and stuff like that. If you're doing a serious story, though, like look, I don't. And the same thing the other way. I don't like seeing effeminate men. If I see men written like women, it's not appealing to me. Like, I don't know. I get that they exist, and I'm not saying a writer should never write a woman masculine or a man effeminate.
I love that.
But if it's a main character, I don't know, probably not going to gather me.
Yes. Just one bench press, you shouldn't have the choice.
Yeah.
My brother likes to do workout stuff, and some of the people he follows on Instagram are like, there's like this girl, her like arms are like huge. Look at Rhea Ripley from wrestling, and it's just like, what the heck? And but like, some guys like being secure, held by a woman. I don't know what that's their thing. I don't judge, whatever. But I look at
Tom King, I think, likes that.
I'm not gonna assume that nobody likes
mommy wives.
Yes. But as far as characters like Black Widow or Black Cat, I don't mind them. It's fantasy. That's all it comes down to. It's fantasy. It doesn't have to be.
But Black Widow and Black Cat, in my experience, when they're written best, at least the times I've read them or I enjoyed them, were never written like butch. They were never written masculine. And that's the same thing. Like Gun Honey here. I liked this book because I was like, oh, it's refreshing. She's a strong character for sure, but she's not strong because she goes around physically manhandling people. And that's what I get in the past 5 to 10 years. That's what's kind of happened is we've gone into this sort of like this weird idea that we need to gaslight all the audiences into thinking that that women are just as physical as men and think the same way as men. They have the same physical aggressive tendencies and thoughts.
They kind of are because men have become more effeminate. Some men are, there are a lot more women that do want to work out. There's hardly any men that work out these days. About 20% of the population, if I were in the United States alone, probably works out of guys and females. It's not like it used to be where we're all farmers.
Yeah, but packing muscle onto your body doesn't change your psychology. Yes, there are women that work out and are much more muscular than other women and maybe more muscular than some men. Sure, but that doesn't change how you're wired. And men and women are biologically wired differently. These are facts. But we live in a society now that's trying to convince you that that's not the case.
I know, but I'm just saying that as far as strong female leads, they do exist. And like I said, it's just I don't mind them,
But when you say strong female lead, are you saying that as synonymous with masculinity? Because I'm saying I like movies like Black Widow. Female lead, but she was not masculine.
I'm saying I like movies like Black Widow where she can run up and just beat the shit out of that guy. She's not stand alone and like doing like Rocky, and stuff like that. Just kind of stand. No, she does surprise attacks. That's basically what these there. That's their spies thrillers like that, taking cheap shots. She's not like picking him up and just tossing him like that. No, I don't see movies like that where they're strong, like impossibly strong. But I don't know. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's all down to fantasy. It's not real life. If it was real life movies, no one would want to watch them. But they are trying.
You can have fantasy and not try to make women into men. Especially all the time. Look, when you had your one-off, like, okay, this is sort of a fringe type of thing, whatever, that's fine. But when now everything in mainstream cinema or just media in general, comic books, every strong female character, it's tied into also being physically aggressive masculine traits and eradicating the feminine side. Basically, what you're telling me is that if a woman is feminine, they're actually weak. What's happening is you're saying that to be strong, you need to be a man. And if you're more like a woman is traditionally and actually in reality, then that's weak. That's what I hate about you don't like strong women. No, I do. I love strong women. Strong women are strong because they're women, not because they're like men. And I think it's insulting to women to say that that's not a strong woman if they're not masculine. And that's what's happening in our fiction today is we're saying, oh, look, see that strong woman? It's like, no, that doesn't represent a woman at all. I mean, physically, it has the body of a woman. You drew it that way. But everything that comes out of their mouth sounds like how men would behave.
So you don't like men who talk or women who talk like sailors that slur and say all these derogatory stuff?
No, there's a psychology to how, like I said, the women are they're wired differently.
Yeah, but everyone's wired differently, men and women. Not all women are the same. Not all guys are the same. You can say we all have a biological trait, sure, but psychologically we're all wired differently.
Yes, of course. I mean, no fingerprints on anyone else.
I don't want to see She-Hulk drawn like a man. I agree with that part. But if She-Hulk wants to be slightly more muscular, like she was with the John Byrne era, stuff like that, going around.
But why don't you want to see She-Hulk drawn like a man?
Because she's not a man.
Right. So that should carry over to her psychology, not just her physicality. So I think
it's like it gets dumb when people say like they don't like the Black Widow movie because she's acting like a man, beating up guys who are twice her size.
I didn't think she was acting like a man. I like the Black Widow movie.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, like I said, that's the thing I don't like is when people say like they don't want to watch any movie because there are people out there who just don't like women in lead roles. Now
I love women in lead roles. I don't like women when they're just basically meant to be men, but in a female frame.
I like I said, I don't really watch those movies or TV shows where the guy is kind of like the goof. Unless, like I said, unless it's supposed to be a comedy. Castle was that thing. Castle was where Santa Koenig was basically the lead role, and she's by the the top one. He's kind of like he's the book guy, because smart guy. He's a comedian. You see that with Ryan Reynolds a lot of times in his movies, where he he's kind of like gets beat up, and then he's always been there, and it's just shtick. He plays like he's the weaker kind of comedic role where he has a woman come in and save him because it's absurd. Like it shows you how weak of a person you are. You got to have a woman come in and save you. That was the mentality. Remember this?
Yeah, if you're doing comedy, that was telling an absurd story. Like
that's Ryan Reynolds though. So when people get upset, like Rob and I reviewed Project Adam. He gets saved by the girl the actress who plays Gamora. She plays his girlfriend in that movie, and she comes in. He's all badass and saves him, and he leaves, and he's like Rob didn't like that. I was like, well, that's the role he's always played. I mean, if you didn't know that, I can see why you're kind of upset. But I mean, like, if you knew that and you still didn't like it, yeah, I'm sorry. It's just what it is. Eric Breen, don't you dare say that on my channel ever again. He says ashes, right?
Yeah.
Now I know now Eric's going towards the light. He's saying
go to the light, Eric. Stay away from the darkness that is RDV.
Anyway, but I think our rant's driving people away. Or not really rant, but just like the conversation. We're down to 6 now, bro.
Conversation.
We do. We dropped down. We went from 11 to 6. Anyway, I want to talk about some of the other books coming out.
All right, let's do
it. Dude. So we're here. Speaking of manly men, and I guess that's Jack Kirby Hulk. It looks like Kirby. He's got the brow and everything. Stan Lee. Ours is Carl Hubble. This is the variant cover that's for the omnibus they're having here. Or actually, that's not omnibus, but it's basically the Marvel Masterworks, Mighty Thor, Trial of the Gods. Man, reading, if you're not reading the what's it called, the Avengers, Lost or War Across Time. They touch on Thor. If he doesn't hold his hammer, if he doesn't touch it while he's holding, he has a minute before he reverts back to being, regular. Crap. What's his?
Donald Blake.
Donald Blake. Yeah, sorry, it's been a while since I've actually seen Donald Blake in a comic book. Yeah. So I love that there was a time limit he had, and the other thing is that they mentioned the last issue is basically brought up the fact, and I think that's what I love about this. Paul Levitz really does the research. When someone throws a hammer, the hammer always the hammer always returns to its rightful owner, which is Thor. I just love these little things like this, limitations on characters. That's one of the reasons why I personally love post-crisis Superman stuff, because he has power limits. Where pre-crisis, before that, Silver Age, Superman could just move planets if he wanted to.
It was like I was watching. It was either a video or it was an article, or I forget what it was. Like all the times Superman was overpowered, and I saw once he could sneeze and blew away a galaxy. I was like, what?
He's Black Bolt in the sense. It's insane.
Sneezing and blowing away a galaxy. I just want to say that's Eric's favorite era. Just saying. No other comments. Just Eric loves Silver Age,
but not for Superman though. He said he likes the John Byrne.
I don't know. I'm just saying he likes the Silver Age.
Sure.
For Marvel, read into it.
I would say for Marvel and certain things at DC, the New Gods, Jack Kirby. or good things are all as far as like Green Lantern, Green Arrow, and you have some of the stuff Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil working on Batman. There's some good stuff at DC Silver Age, but the Superman was just ridiculously overpowered. So, like I said, if you would have had Doomsday go against Silver Age Superman, so Doomsday would have died instantly. Yeah, or some hijinks, would have happened.
Eric says Ash is wrong. What am I wrong about? All I said was you like Silver Age. I think you're lying.
It was nice.
Deny that you like Silver Age.
So anyway, I've been getting more into Stan stuff. This is a collected journey mystery from 1952. It went from 110 to 119, $16. And it's basically epic collection, so it's paperback. And look, we get Vince Scaletta. You know what that's good for, right? You just erase.
That's only $16.
Yeah, 16. Yeah, $15.99. 232 pages. Yeah. Yep. Journey in the Mystery with Thor. Marvel Master. Yeah. Marvel Masterworks.
That's right. This.
Yeah.
They changed the Marvel Masterworks now.
So
I forgot they did this like a year ago. They launched it with Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They're doing like much smaller.
Yeah, these are little books.
Little.
So I was looking at them.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like that they're making them like more acceptable, lower price point to kind of compete with the manga. But Masterworks kind of like, I wish they wouldn't have used the Masterworks brand. I wish they would have like come up with a new label for this, because to me, like, Masterworks is like the nice hardcover books with those silver like dust covers, and they're just like really classic and well made. And now it's like Masterworks is like cheap ebooks, and nothing wrong with this. Like, if you want the more bargain bang for your buck, but I don't know, just call it something different.
Yeah, so I was looking at that. I was just like, I like the little mini Marvel Masterwork stuff, and like I said, like I got the Avengers, I got some of the Spider-Man ones, and like I said, it's always cool to go back and read some of these books, and just look the way they were framed, how they did stuff back then. I know they had a Comic Code Authority, but they also had class. And just seeing some of the original stories, seeing the old Thor before Simonson, changed them, I love Donald Blake. Donald Blake tapping the cane down, becoming Thor,
I hated that so much.
I loved it. Don, yeah, like I said, and then Jane Foster was more tolerable back then.
Well, she's always been tolerable until Jason Aaron got a hold of her.
As they said, 2012, it just basically that's when it ended. Siege was the last good Thor story.
Then they turned her into a man.
James. Yeah, that's her name. Yeah, Jane Foster. Jake, or James, what do you call him? Jimmy Foster. Also featured the fan favorite Tales of Asgard backup stories, revealing the origins of Marvel's Norse pantheon heroes, villains, giants, and mythic lands. Yes. Like I said, $16, small books. I can fit more of those on my shelf. They're the size of Reader Digest size books, but like more pages. Not as thick as at the stores, but like I said. Marvel Silver Age. What are my favorite comics? DC I like for historical value.
Mm-hmm. What era is your favorite Batman, Eric Breen?
Are you trying to get in the same post-crisis, or are you trying to say Silver Age? Because I'd say his favorite is probably Golden Age Batman.
No one likes Golden Age Batman.
Everyone likes Golden Age Batman. He used guns back then.
Well, I mean, all you got to do is watch Scott Snyder Batman for that. Zack Snyder.
Well, I mean, that's also why they brought back Thomas Wayne. He's pretty much the Golden Age version, but redone. He's Thomas Wayne.
Thomas Wayne can suck it.
Wow.
Hate that character.
All right.
Just all bitter. Rawr.
Matt Wagner's Grendel's Omnibus, Volume 4. Greg Rucka's on this too, so I'm not sure how that's going to turn out.
You like Greg Rucka?
Well, I don't know which version of Greg Rucka this, what period this is from. What
That's
year?
90s.
Is 90s Grendel? Okay, then it's probably good Greco. Yeah, who knows? All right, so and I always hear about people praising Matt Wagner too, in our circles, and he's a good writer / artist.
Yeah.
So I thought that's kind of cool. This is 544 pages for $30. Remember, guys, everything you see here, you saw the prices. It's 42% off of that price over on In Stock Trades.
Man, 500 some bucks for $30.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yep. And it's only volume 4. I don't know if there's any more after this, but collects Grendel Devil Quest #1, Past Prime. And then it has World Child 1 through looks like 1 through 10. So
yeah, there were Grendel's like it's really hard to explain.
It's Venom,
but there's multiple Grendels.
Yeah.
It's
like it's just basically the Clone Saga.
It's more like this. It's more like Grendel is a mantle, and so there are different people who picked up the Grendel mantle.
The Dread Pie Roberts.
So, like this one, is what do they call it? War Child. This is one of the the last ones. I believe this one takes place in the future. That's why he's got like a lightsaber looking. But each one takes place in a different point in time because one of the Grendels will die, and so then when he starts a new series, someone else becomes a new Grendel. So it's interesting in that aspect. If you read Grendel, it's just not the same character throughout the entire length of Grendel. And this is probably arguably his most famous work. Although I think Mage is probably his most acclaimed work.
Like I said, the auction over on I Love Comics over there, people would chat, people would be like, "Oh, that's Grendel." I'm like, "Who? What?" Because the only Grendel I know is from Ghostbusters. He's the guy that would abduct children. so it's like because Grendel is pretty much their version of they had the Boogeyman, but there's also the Grendels. The kid and gets naughty kids, and then they too become Grendels, and then they just continues the cycle. Copper Age, 1980 to 1985. Golden Age. Batman was great until the code was implemented, then it mostly took place in space. It got sillier from time. Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised that no one has ever picked this up to adapt it to a movie. Given how in the post 2000s how comic books have exploded into the movie scene.
It looks like somebody just took Star Wars lightsabers, and we got the shields here. We got Venom and Agent Venom, but it's like cross gen too. It's like, what the heck? That's what that cover. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, keep in mind though, this book originally, this series came out originally in the early 90s.
Yes.
So it looks like it's a copy of things that this actually kind of came before a lot of that stuff. But
yeah, I know.
It's just I'm just thinking, if you're not Warner Brothers, you got DC, Disney's got Marvel. If you're not one of those two studios, you don't have I'm just surprised that someone, because Grendel was big for a while, and it just seems prime to.
You got Patrick Meehan on this too.
Adopted.
And Monty Sheldon. I'm sure those are probably some no names. Patrick Meehan. But yeah, like I said, I decided this is coming up this week and all. And for those, I know there are Grendel fans out there. I couldn't hurt to pick it up, man. Off In Stock Trades. If it's $30 just for this, going through your comic book store, you can imagine what it is on In Stock Trades. It's 42% off. That's
Yep.
a steal. The 544 pages, especially if
It's
you've
a
never
lot of book for that
and,
price.
and,
Like,
and if you've
congrats
never,
on
yeah, if you don't have the
keeping the
individual
price
issues,
down.
you don't have the individual issues too. This is a great find for that price. Getting it all collected in one book, and I believe it's a soft cover. Yeah, trade paperback. So you don't have to worry about breaking any spines at all, or breaking your own spine trying to carry it. It's a hardcover. But it's a present. Sometimes a single person, sometimes it's a group of people. It could even be entire population of a planet. Usually an individual, though. Okay. All right. That's the last book I have on here for the trades going on, and I hope you guys enjoyed this special version of the top 5. Yeah, if you're wondering why I'm looking a little flush here, because it's like 78 degrees in here. I have my window open, everything. It's like nice outside. We're getting some warm weather this week. We're in the 70s, upper 70s, with lows in like the 60s. So yeah.
This has been a special Zach-free presentation of
Yes,
Geeky
yes,
Show.
yes. Well, Zach is not. This isn't geeky. This is Geeky Puppet Show adjacent.
Oh, what's the name of this one? Comics of the Week.
Top 5 comics of the week. Top 5 for sure.
You know, you missed. I'm surprised you missed one of the trades. There's one trade you didn't list. I'm really shocked.
I saw a few of them that I figured I would not bring up because they just were kind of offensive. But if you want me to bring up one,
this one's not offensive. This is something you're super excited about. It's a Garth Ennis book.
Yeah, but that's not until next week.
It's listed in the solicits.
I know, but I know.
All right,
from
you can
firsthand.
cover it next week then.
Yeah. Yes. Those were Kara Series when we talk about Hawk the Slayer, which doesn't come out the next week. I know. I saw there. I was like, that's another example of League of Comic Geeks getting things wrong. April 26th. So awesome series. All right. So with that being said, if for those a few people who are still here that didn't abandon us for some D&D playing whatever,
which is also Zach free.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He might be over there. I'd be upset if he was. But if you like this type of content, like seeing us do bad jokes and being Zach free, click like. Also subscribe if you haven't done so. And if you want to support the channel, there's a couple ways you can support the channel. You can do it by the Ko-Fi link going across. You can drop $1 in the bin, where that money goes to basically helping out as far as paying for the StreamYard, paying for the Marvel and the DC reading apps we use for reading here on Fridays and on Sundays. Or if you can't afford it right now. Right now it's really hard to. You don't really have this big money, but we'll never say no to free money, right?
You don't have to send money. You can send Bitcoin.
You're right. Yes. What you can do is just basic word of mouth. Share out this channel. Let your friends know about it. Maybe you have friends at the comic book store that like talking about comic books. We like having people in the chat. Mark McGrath is new to this channel. Is recently new, fairly new. I like seeing more people popping up in here. I said I enjoy talking comic books. Obviously we don't all agree on everything, but it's cool to see what people are making.
It would be boring if we all agreed.
Right? If I all agreed, they know that Jason Aaron is the best writer ever. He's better than Claremont and Byrne, all those guys, right? Jason Aaron made the X-Men better and Avengers.
Honestly, no. I know, like I'm a very disagreeable, contentious person, but I don't act that way to be a jerk. Like honestly, if I disagree with someone, usually it's for a reason. It's like I've thought about it. I don't make my opinions just like on a whim and then.
Yeah.
But also, like if my opinion's wrong, it needs to be shot down. Like I'm not going to just be like, oh, you said it's wrong. Okay, like tell me. Oftentimes the reason I have such strong opinions is because the opinion I have is the new opinion where my old one was shot down. Like I learned and I was like, oh, I was wrong.
Well,
no, I'm not wrong. But
I know.
Either way, I
It's,
like discussing that because, people have different ideas. And then Skip will be like one of the first people. Well, I don't know if he'll go to bat for me, but I'll use them anyway. Like so many books have come to my attention and like I've become major proponent for, because at first I was like, that book looks meh, whatever. And I, and Skip will be like, oh, it's like the best book of the year. And I'm like, really? Okay, let me go try it,
Yep.
And how many times I come back, I'm like, oh my God, it's so good. Like I will often argue, but I will also be first to admit that I'm wrong when I'm wrong.
Yeah, check out League of Comic Geeks. A lot of us are like Austin P as another viewer we've had in the past year who started popping up on here. He's got a League Comic Geeks account he created, and you can follow each other. You can follow your friends on there, and you can actually click on their profile and see what books they are picking up on their pull list each week. It's really kind of cool. And then also on that website, you're also able to leave ratings on individual issues and reviews. And I like looking at seeing the Skip Natasha's and some of his reviews on there too. Like I said, it's just fun to do. And Ash, we just want to say thank you for being you.
Oh man, you're welcome.
All right.
I owe it all to Zach for taking a vacation and giving me the opportunity to fill in and be the punching bag here on Top 5 Comics of the Week, sponsored by the Geeky Puppa Show.
Yep. And viewers like you. Good night, guys.